Have you ever sat alone in your favorite chair, maybe with a cup of tea or coffee in hand, and thought, I just want to stay right here, in my home, where everything feels familiar? You're not alone. That feeling, that deep desire, how to keep your independence, to wake up in your own bed, to cook your own meals, to choose your own routine, that feeling is powerful. And it's one so many of us share as we grow older. You see, there's this quiet fear that starts to creep in after a certain age. Maybe you've seen a friend or a neighbor slowly lose their mobility, then their confidence, and then, bit by bit, their independence. And before long, they're in a nursing home, far from the place that once brought them comfort and pride. And while there are times when care outside the home becomes necessary, the truth is, there are many things we can do starting today to tip the odds in our favor. To stay home. To age with strength, clarity, and dignity. That's what we're going to talk about right now. Not in some cold clinical way, but with heart, with hope, and with some truly practical tools you can start using right away. Because avoiding a nursing home doesn't start with luck. It starts with action. Let's begin with something simple, yet so often overlooked, the safety of your home environment. I know it's easy to think, I've lived here for years, I know every inch. But as our balance shifts, as our eyesight changes and our reflexes slow just a little, the home that once felt perfectly harmless can become a minefield of risks. That throw rug in the hallway, the step up into the bathroom, the lamp cord tucked behind the recliner, they may seem minor, but they're among the most common reasons older adults end up falling, and it's usually after a fall that the conversation about moving into a care facility begins. But this is the good news. Falls are preventable, and prevention starts with a fresh pair of eyes. Walk through your home, or better yet, ask a friend or loved one to walk with you, and look at each space with a new perspective. Is there clutter that needs to be cleared? Could a grab bar help near the tub or toilet? Is the lighting bright? Enough at night? These small changes don't cost a fortune. In fact, many of them cost little to nothing. But the peace of mind they bring? That's priceless. Now, while your physical space matters, your body is the real foundation. And I'm not talking about running marathons or lifting heavy weights. I'm talking about staying active in ways that make sense for your life. Gentle, consistent movement that keeps your muscles strong, your joints flexible, and your balance steady. You see, our bodies were never designed to stay still for long. Even a simple routine of morning stretches, light chair exercises, or a daily walk around the block can do wonders. One woman I know, Mary, is 82 years old and lives alone in the house she's called home for over 5 decades. Every morning, rain or shine, she does 10 minutes of stretching in her living room. She says it keeps her joints from locking up and gives her a sense of control over her day. That's the key. It's not about perfection. It's about consistency. Even if all you can manage right now is getting up and down from your chair a few extra times a day, that's something. And something is always better than nothing. Of course, our bodies and homes are just one part of the puzzle. There's another layer to independence that people don't talk about nearly enough. Your daily routines. The simple habits that either keep you thriving or slowly chip away at your ability to manage on your own. One of the most powerful things you can do is to create a rhythm to your day that supports your energy, your memory, and your mental clarity. Think about this. What time do you usually get up? Do you eat breakfast at the same time each day? Do you have a routine for keeping track of medications or meals or appointments? When you stick to a gentle, predictable rhythm, you create structure. And structure builds confidence. When your brain knows what to expect, it doesn't have to work as hard to make decisions. And that frees up mental energy for more joyful things like calling a friend, tending your garden, or playing with your grandkids. Now, I want to pause here and say something important. If your days feel a bit scattered right now, that's okay. You're not doing anything wrong. Life gets messy. But this might be a good moment to pick one small routine to bring into focus. Maybe it's drinking a glass of water every morning before your coffee. Maybe it's writing down your medications the night before so you don't have to second guess in the morning. These little steps done regularly add up to a life that feels more manageable and less overwhelming. And here's a little tip I've seen work wonders. Set an alarm, not to remind you to do something, but to remind you to pause. Take a breath. Check in with yourself. How am I feeling? What do I need? That moment of mindfulness can help you stay in tune with your body and make decisions that support your independence, rather than reacting out of stress or confusion. Everything we've talked about so far, your home, your body, your routines, these are the scaffolding that keep your independence strong. And here's the beautiful part. No one needs to be perfect. You don't need to get everything right overnight. What matters is that you're still here, still trying, still taking steps toward the life you want to live. Because the truth is, growing older doesn't mean giving up control. It means reclaiming it in new, smarter ways. It means honoring what your body needs, protecting your space, and making choices that support the version of life you want to keep living. Not just existing, but thriving, in your own space, on your own terms. So go ahead, take that first step today. Look around your home with fresh eyes. Stretch a little. Create one new habit. And remember, every effort you make is a step further from that nursing home door and closer to the independent, fulfilling life you deserve. You know, one of the most powerful things we can do for ourselves as we age, beyond keeping our bodies moving and our homes safe, is something that often goes unnoticed. It's the way we nourish ourselves, not just with food, but with attention, intention, and care. You see, eating well isn't just about calories or diets. It's about fueling your strength, your focus, and your ability to take care of yourself tomorrow and the day after that. Now, I get it. Cooking every day can feel like a chore, especially if you live alone or just don't have the energy some days. But the food you choose can either support your independence or slowly chip away at it. For example, skipping meals or eating mostly. Packaged salty foods can drain your energy and weaken your muscles over time. That's the sneaky part. These things don't hit you overnight. They build up quietly until suddenly walking up the stairs feels harder, or your balance starts to wobble, or your memory gets a little fuzzier than usual. But the good news, you don't need to be a gourmet chef to turn things around. Something as simple as having a hard-boiled egg and fruit in the morning, or making a hearty soup that lasts a few days, can make a world of difference. Foods rich in protein, like beans, chicken, tofu, or eggs, help keep your muscles strong. Leafy greens, berries, and nuts support your brain. And staying hydrated? That's one of the easiest ways to avoid dizziness, fatigue, even confusion. A woman I once spoke to, named Lorraine, told me she keeps a small whiteboard on her fridge. Every Sunday she writes out her meals for the week. Nothing fancy, just what she already has in the house. If it's written down, she said, I don't have to waste brain power wondering what I'll eat. I just do it. And that's the key, removing the stress from small decisions, so your energy can go toward the things that really matter. And speaking of energy, let's talk about one of the biggest threats to staying independent that almost no one sees coming: isolation. You might be surprised, but being alone too often can be just as dangerous as any physical illness. I know sometimes it feels peaceful to keep to yourself, especially if you're naturally quiet or you've lost a partner. But the truth is, we're wired for connection. It keeps our minds sharper, our emotions steadier, and our sense of purpose alive. Now, staying connected doesn't mean having a dozen people over every weekend. It can be as simple as checking in with a friend once a week, joining a walking group, or attending a local class or community event. Even chatting with your neighbor while checking the mail can brighten your day more than you think. And if leaving, the house isn't easy right now, don't underestimate the power of a phone call, or writing a letter, or even better, learning to use a video call app like Zoom or FaceTime. You'd be amazed how many people in their 70s, 80s, even 90s are now connecting with family all over the world with just a tap on a screen. And guess what? Learning something new like that actually strengthens your brain too. I once met a gentleman named George who started a coffee and chat Zoom group during the pandemic. Just 4 people to start. Now, 3 years later, he's got over 20 regulars from across the country. He said, I may be retired, but now I'm never bored and I'm never really alone. That kind of social connection does something powerful. It gives you a reason to get up in the morning, a reason to laugh, to think, to feel engaged with life. And that brings us to something else that often gets pushed aside but plays a huge role in whether or not we're able to stay at home long term. It's not glamorous, but it's essential. Getting support before you desperately need it. Here's the truth. Independence doesn't mean doing everything alone. It means knowing when to ask for help and doing it early enough to stay in control. Maybe you need someone to help mow the lawn or drive you to appointments, or even assist with cleaning once a week. Accepting that help doesn't make you weak. It makes you wise. Too often people wait until something big happens, a fall, an illness, a sudden hospitalization, before they reach out. But by then, decisions get made in a rush. You might end up in a place you never wanted to be, simply because there wasn't a plan in place. So start now. Think about the areas of your life that feel a little overwhelming. Maybe your medications are getting confusing, or it's harder to lift the laundry basket than it used to be. Talk to your doctor, a family member, or a local senior resource center. There are people, many of them volunteers, whose entire purpose is to help you stay in your home longer and live more comfortably while doing so. And please, don't let pride get in the way. You've spent decades taking care of others. Now, it's time to let others care for you in small ways that help you keep your freedom. Think of it like this. The more little supports you allow in your life now, the more independence you actually get to keep in the long run. Because staying out of a nursing home isn't about refusing help. It's about choosing the right help. The kind that lifts you up without taking away your choices. So whether it's a meal delivery service, a neighbor who brings in your mail, or a grandchild who helps with your tech, you're not giving up control. You're building a life that supports the future you want. Take a breath and let that sink in for a moment. This life of yours, it's yours to shape. One smart decision, one helping hand, one brave phone call at a time. There's something deeply empowering about realizing you still have the reins in your hands, that no matter your age, there are choices you can make today that protect your tomorrow. And if there's one more thing that ties all of this together, beyond movement, safety, nutrition, connection, and support, it's this: staying mentally sharp and emotionally strong. Because aging isn't just about what happens to your body, it's also about how you think, how you feel, and how you respond to the changes around you. So, I've spoken to so many older adults who've said things like, "I feel invisible," or "people assume I can't think for myself anymore." And that hurts, doesn't it? But here's the truth. Your wisdom is valuable. Your experience still matters. You just need to keep that inner flame burning, and you can. Staying mentally strong doesn't require a PhD or a daily crossword puzzle, though if you enjoy those, by all means keep doing them. What it does require is curiosity, a willingness to learn, to engage, to keep asking questions, to stay interested in life. That might mean taking a free online class, trying your hand at journaling, or even watching videos like this one and trying out what feels useful to you. But emotional strength? That's just as important, and it's something we don't talk about nearly enough, especially as we age. The truth is, we all face losses. Friends move away, loved ones pass on. Our roles in life shift. That can leave a person feeling hollow, like they're not sure who they are anymore. But please hear me on this. You are not your grief. You are not your loneliness. You are not your aches or the labels others place on you. You are still you. You are still whole. And part of aging in place successfully, part of avoiding that nursing home altogether, is making peace with who you are right now, not who you used to be. It's about embracing today, even when it looks different than yesterday. That's not easy, but it's powerful, because your mindset has a direct impact on your ability to stay independent. People who believe they're capable, who find purpose, who stay hopeful, they're more likely to keep moving, eating well, reaching out, asking for help when they need it. I once knew a woman named Hattie. She was 89 when I met her. Lived alone, cooked her own meals, knitted hats for newborns at the local hospital. One day I asked her how she managed to keep going with such a positive outlook. She said, "Honey, I wake up every morning and say, 'Thank you.' Then I ask myself, what's one thing I can do today? Not what I can't, but what I can." That mindset kept her out of the nursing home for the rest of her life. So maybe today, your can is taking a 10-minute walk, or calling a friend, or organizing your medications, or simply drinking more water. Whatever it is, it matters. Because those small acts of self-care, they add up, they build resilience. And as we bring this conversation to a close, I want to leave you with a reminder. You're not doing this alone. There is a whole community of people, yes, right here on YouTube and beyond, who are rooting for you. People who believe in aging with dignity, with grace, with power. People who are choosing, just like you, to take their future into their own hands. So let's quickly reflect. Not in a list, not as homework, but as a gentle reminder. You're choosing to keep moving even if it's slow. You're making your home safer, so it supports you instead of challenges you. You're nourishing your body with good food and hydration. You're keeping your connections alive, whether that's friends, family, or community. You're asking for help when it strengthens your independence, not weakens it. And you're choosing to nurture your mind and your heart because you deserve to feel whole and alive at every age. All of this is in your hands, not because life is always easy, not because aging is without its struggles, but because deep down you know that you still have so much to give, so much to experience, and so much life ahead of you. If anything in this video resonated with you, I'd love to hear from you. Share your thoughts in the comments. What's one thing you're doing right now to stay independent? Or what's one thing you want to start doing? This community is a safe place to support each other, and your story might inspire someone else who's watching and feeling a little unsure. And if you found this helpful, go ahead and hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already, because we've got more uplifting, practical videos coming your way, designed just for folks like you who are choosing to live life fully, not fearfully. Remember, every day is a chance to choose strength, to choose self-care, to choose joy. Aging doesn't have to mean giving up control. It can mean stepping into a new kind of freedom, a freedom built on wisdom, on small daily wins, and on the quiet confidence that, yes, you've got this. Here's to living your best life, right where you are, at home, with heart, with courage, and with the unshakable belief that you still get to choose what your story looks like. Stay well, stay strong, and stay you.